Hey guys, it's Kristen at Orpha Beatrice. Today I'm going to teach you how to cut felt using the Explore Air 2 machine. We're going to make this 12-piece fabric memory game set. It's great for beginning Cricut users and they make awesome gifts. You've got felt color option choices and also all of your fabric choices. You could do modern prints, solid colors, or even use onesies if you're looking to make a meaningful keepsake. So for materials, you're going to need a strong grip mat, a deep cut blade, your iron, a package of Heat and Bond, the Ultra Hold. Make sure you get the red package, 2 pieces of 9x12 felt. I always buy a few extra just to have on hand in case your cutting goes incorrectly. You don't want to have to run back to the store. And the spatula is optional. You're also going to need 6 fabrics of your choice. You're going to be cutting these into 2x2 squares and you'll end up making 2 of each. To make cutting the fabrics easier, I make a 2" by 4" template out of a piece of scrap paper. It'll make cutting more precise. I also use a 1.5" square piece of felt. That's going to help you in the center when you're going to iron so that the fabric adheres correctly. For your convenience, I have linked the files that I used in Cricut Design Space in the description. So you're free to use those for the back and for the front. If you are making them, you're going to want to use the square function. The larger squares are 2.8 by 2.8 inches and the smaller squares are 1.5 inches. So load those in and let's prep your felt. I've added a short clip from one of my other videos that explains all about how to use Heat Bond on felt if you've never used it before, so check it out. Okay, the first step we're gonna do is to prep our felt. I've got my Heat Bond. You wanna make sure you have the Ultra Hold, which is the red package. And when you take it out of the package, you can see it's got a glue side, and then it also has a paper side. We are going to have the glue side down on the fabric, but right now we're just going to measure it and cut it to size. Just lay your felt right on top. It usually coincides pretty well with the little fold line, which is kind of nice. Make sure it's nice and straight. You want this as precise as you can get it because it does have glue and you're going to iron. So, fold up these little pieces. Okay, so we are going to take the glue side and put the glue side down. And again, line it up as best as you can. I've got my iron on medium heat and mine is on the polyester setting. So I'm just gonna run over this and you're going to set each part of it for about 2 seconds. So it doesn't need much time at all. And for the sake of time, I had already pre-cut the other one so that you guys don't have to watch me cut 2. Okay, so we'll do this with the second one. It's important to let them cool. So while the other one's cooling, I'll do this one. It doesn't take very long, but you don't want to be trying to pull the paper off. When it's still hot. Get that corner a little. Perfect. All right, we've got our felt prepped. I'm going to pull the backing off of this. And this is a double stick, so when I pull this backing, you'll see that the glue stayed on. It's off the paper now. I've got it perfectly glued back. This isn't sticky. It doesn't get sticky until you heat it again. but it's a really nice way to get the whole surface evenly covered. You can see it's always nice to have a squirrely toddler on hand. To place your felt on the mat, make sure you're putting it glue side down and do your cut as normal. I use the custom setting for felt that is bonded. I've got a short video clip that follows to tell you how to put the memory pieces together. So now we've got all of our squares prepped, and it's time to do the fabric. When I lay out my squares after I've cut everything out, I like to do the glue side facing up on all of the solid squares, and then the glue side facing down on all of the frame pieces. And that just helps me prep for how we put them together to make sure that in the heat of the moment when you're using your iron, you don't accidentally go to glue the wrong side and end up with glue all over your iron, because I have done that. I took my fabric, I pre-cut these, but I use them from larger swatches. So you're gonna take the 6 fabrics that you've chosen, and I've got a frame piece here to kind of help explain it. This is the size of, you want your fabric at least this size, which if you remember, we did it 1.5 by 1.5. So I like to cut my fabrics at least 2 by 2. That helps to make sure that we get enough fabric on the underneath the frame, so that nothing's trying to peek out through there. So if you're a template gal or guy, you can make a template that's 2 by 4. That way when you go to cut it in half, you'll have both of your 2 coinciding pieces for your memory game. And so I went ahead and did that, and then I'll just cut them in half. They'll end up being 2 by 2. So this piece is 4 inches by 2 inches. And then I'm going to take each of my fabrics and just fold them in half. This is the open side here. And I'm honestly just going to rely on the scissor to help me guide it. Such a small piece, it's pretty easy to get it straight. And you're going to do that with each of your 6 fabrics, so you'll end up with 12 small pieces. So I've got my iron turned on again. It's on polyester setting or a medium setting for your iron. Remember, we're not using steam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one solid square, and the glue is facing up. Move these over just so I can work here. And then I'll take a piece of any of the 12. Doesn't matter which one you do first, obviously. And then my little frame goes on top. This part you do want to be intentional and move slow. You want to make sure that they're stacked really nicely. If you have a little bit of overlay on those, it's fine. We'll trim them at the end. We just want to trim them so that when they're face down, they all look the same. You don't want anyone being able to tell which one the yellow square is, for example, because it's a little wonky or off. So get them as put together as you can. And then we're using the piece that we put together to go into the center. It's going to create equal pressure for the iron to really get that yellow fabric down and adhered to the backing. So I just stick that little guy in, and it's ready to iron. When you're doing the ironing for the final pieces, you're going to do 8 seconds on each side. Sometimes it sticks to the iron and I just have to knock it off a little bit, but if it does that, that's totally normal. Save you guys the sound of me counting. I'm applying pretty substantial pressure. I mean, I'm not going crazy, but I'm not just laying it on there either. All right, and then I'm gonna move this out of the way. And there's our first piece. Thank you guys so much for crafting with me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below letting me know which fabric you chose and why.